So our next speaker, as Dan mentioned, is Jacke Salit from the Independent Voters, a highly respected political innovator and advocate for the rights of independent voters, now 40% of the American electorate. Jacke Salit has built the largest network of independent leaders and activists in the country. She is the president of independentvoting.org, the country's leading strategy and organizing center for independence, with chapters in 50 states. Since 2005, she has hosted a biannual national conference for independent voters.
How y'all doing?
So good.
So far, so good. Excellent. I'm glad to hear it. It's great to be here with all of you. It's great to be here in this wonderful tent. I have to tell you that this is literally true. The last time that I was in Manchester was 24 years ago. I was working on the presidential campaign of an independent candidate who was running in the Democratic primary. She'd been excluded from the first televised presidential debates, which were being held at WMUR, and we held a picket outside of the debate. It was in the evening by the river. We had 400 people protesting her exclusion, and it was the coldest that I have ever been in my entire life. So being here in this tent with the wonderful heaters and the lights and everything feels like being at a luxury hotel. So I want to thank the organizers for really warming up the room, and it's a great way to come back to Manchester. By the way, the woman whose campaign that was named Lenora Fulani. She was an African-American psychologist. In '88, she became the first woman and first African-American in U.S. history to get on the ballot in all 50 states. And in 1992, when she entered the Democratic primary, we came up here. She had raised $623,000 in federal primary matching funds, and that was the second highest amount of money of any presidential candidate running in any party at that time, other than one, Paul Tsongas. There was a candidate who was part of the field, you may recall, named Bill Clinton. He had raised less money than she had. Now, I share that number with you just to give you a sense of the scale of the change, of the amount of money that now washes through the political system. Just 20-some years ago, $623,000 was enough money to get you on the front page of the Daily News. Today, there are tens of millions of dollars that wash through the political process, and that is something that we are all here to deal with today. But one of the changes that has happened in those 25 years, in addition to the avalanche of money that floods through the system, is the growth of the independent voter. It was mentioned in the introduction. Yeah, you can clap, because 43% of the American public today have said that they are not Democrats, they are not Republicans, they are not a part of any political party, they are non-aligned voters, they are independents, and they don't want to be told how to think, they don't want to be told how to vote, they don't want to be told how to associate, and they are being made to pay a price for that declaration of independence. And I came here today to speak to you about this second abuse of power and to ask for your help in this regard. You know, here in New Hampshire, you guys know this, the independent voter is called the undeclared. It's a huge portion of the electorate, almost 45%, I think, and I was reading articles in the paper yesterday about how important independent voters are going to be in Tuesday's primary, etc. By the way, New Hampshire, as you know, allows independents to vote in the presidential primary. About half the states don't. But independent voters here are called undeclared, and I just want to say something for a second about the use of that language, because I think it's important to look at. Undeclared is a description or a statement that is relative to something else. They're undeclared relative to the political parties. And even when voters try to establish their independent identity, they are automatically treated as something that didn't fit in to the way that things are supposed to be, so they have not declared. I think this is a tremendous misnomer, because when someone becomes an independent, they are making a declaration. They are making a very strong statement about something that is wrong with this political system. Because not only does money wash through it in an uncontrolled and unreported and undisclosed way, but partisanship washes through this system in an uncontrolled way. And that is something that the American people are getting sick and tired of, and that is something that we have to change in order to make this country and make this democracy work. You know, there's a lot of talk about political revolution in this primary, and I am all for it. I am all for it. I have been for the political revolution since I was a little girl, and I know that many of the people in this room feel the same way. But you cannot have a political revolution unless you're willing to revolt against some of the practices of your own political party. If you're not willing to open up the political system so that independents have the same rights as members of political parties, if you're not willing to shake up a system that rewards superdelegates and deprives the voters of what the actual delegate count should be, then you're not really leading a political revolution that reaches to every corner of this country. And that is what we need to do. That is what we need to do. Here's what I need your help with. I want to ask you today to help me and to help the movement of which I am a part connect the campaign finance reform movement to the primary reform movement. I think those two issues go hand in glove, because not only does it need to be the case that no financial contribution made to a candidate can be undisclosed, it is also the case, in my opinion, that no voter in the United States of America should be required to join a political organization as a condition for casting a ballot. That cannot be allowed to stand. And I believe that those two issues, joined together, can shake the foundations of a political system that we are trying to change and give back to the people. I want to share with you just a very short story of where we have a laboratory going to bring these issues together. In the state of Arizona, which is ruled by the Republican Party and ruled by the right wing of the Republican Party, a new coalition has come together of Democrats, Republicans, independents, conservatives, liberals, people from all walks of life, to put two propositions on the ballot this November. One is a dark money disclosure initiative. The second is an open primary initiative which would level the playing field for all voters and all candidates. We are running a joint campaign for these two initiatives. 37% of the voters in Arizona today are independents. 41% of Latinos are independents. There is a growing segment that is being repressed and suppressed by a system that does not give equal standing to people who do not want to be in a political party. Since we've begun petitioning the governor of the state, both major political parties, the legislature has gone to work to try to derail these propositions. And we are going directly to the people of Arizona and asking for their support. Last week, I participated in a telephone town hall with 14,000 independents from across the state of Arizona who phoned in to hear about these initiatives, to learn how they could go to work to get them passed, to get petitions signed. That's the kind of uprising that we're seeing in a state which is considered a backwater of progressive politics. That's where I think one of the major changes in this country is going to come from. So I wanted to share that with you today, and I brought with me, in closing, a short video, runs about 4 minutes, that I want to show you. It's an interview that I did a couple of weeks ago with an attorney and activist in Arizona named Daniel Ortega. For those of you who recall the days of Cesar Chavez and the farm workers movement, Mr. Ortega was an activist and a leader in that movement. He is a Democratic Party activist and leader, and believes that the future of his community, the Latino community, rests on opening up the primary system and exposing dark money to the light of day. So let me show you the words of Mr. Ortega to inspire you and to show you that your movement here in New Hampshire is growing all over the country, and to appeal to you to help me bring these issues together. Can we take a look at the video?
Yeah, I think that accountability is extremely important here. Accountability to the voters. And if you look at the primary elections issue, what we're simply saying is, what's wrong with everybody voting and making this a true representative government of the people? And so that one to me is significant, despite the fact that I do have some leanings and I do have some commitment to some of the principles that are a part of the party that I belong to, okay, which is the Democratic Party. But we can't put party over people.
Right.
And if the party's in the right place, they will get the support of the people, and that is not occurring in the state. So it's important to involve more people to really make it represented. The issue surrounding dark money is, to me, the simplest of the two, but the most difficult, because you've got moneyed interests who don't want the people to elect a truly representative government.
Right.
These people with money want to be able to select who they support, put money in there, and not allow the people to know who it is that's supporting a candidate that they own. And so on the dark money side of this, what's wrong with the people knowing who's supporting and not supporting as a basis for their decision?
Exactly.
And so to me, when you take both of them, you take the requirement that you have to be a member of a party. When you take the Citizens United and make a mockery of it by not telling the people who it is you're supporting so they can make their own judgment, doesn't lead to more civic participation. It leads to more control by money, and it leads to more control by people who don't represent the people. The poll that was done in our community, the Latino community, you know what they said about our elected officials, Latinos? They said they're more beholden to their party than they are to me. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's something wrong with that. And so I think both the Republican and Democratic parties would do well to pay attention about this movement.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, their numbers decrease.
Yes.
At the end of the day, unaffiliated voters increase. And a new revolution will start, if it hasn't already.
Yeah.
Okay? That will absolutely change the system. And this is our opportunity. And we will know. And we're not saying that candidates can't take money from corporations.
Right.
We're not saying candidates can't take whatever. All we're saying is we just want to know who it is. We want to know who's going to control you so that I know who I'm going to vote for. Now, candidates will tell you nobody controls me for any amount of money.
And then
To the regular voter,
Yeah.
to the people out there who have common sense,
Yeah. No.
they're not stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
These are smart people. Voters are smart people. That's why, in my opinion, they don't want dark money, okay, to go away. That's why they don't want closed primaries to go away, because the people out there are a lot smarter,
Yeah.
and they know it. And the only way they can control it is through those two mechanisms.
Thank you so much. Help me bring these issues together. Help me in the fight to control big money and to bring voters into the system. Thank you so much, and congratulations on your wonderful work.